Howdy. Okay, so let's take a look at this word problem. It has something to do with dealing and solving for an unknown. So you have a medical device and it's selling for $1,000. As you put your order, the amount of tax has been given as $113.62. So we actually know the total tax on this entire purchase. Now let's see. It says as a valued customer, you receive a double discount. So the first discount amounts to 8%, and the second discount is unknown. All right. If you know that the tax rate is 13%, then what was the second discount as a percent rounded to the 1? Okay, so interesting. So these discount and tax problems, the way that you can actually kind of set them up, I have done some of these already. This one is maybe a little bit different because we're solving for the rate. But don't forget that you can kind of utilize branchings per se, because what happens in discounts and taxes as you work through them. So you always typically start with the regular price of whatever item it is that you're purchasing, right? So in this case, it's $1,000. Now we apply discounts on the regular price. Okay, so what we have is, I'm going to kind of do a double branch here. So here it says that we have a discount of 8%. I'm going to change that 8% to a decimal, all right? So that's 8% of a discount. So if I multiplied those two, I would get how much of a discount I've received. Now, if I wanted to know the sale price after that first discount, then I would have to, so I'm going to do that on the opposite branch. I'd have to say, 100% of the original price minus the 8%, or, if you write it as a decimal, this would be 1 minus 0.08, so that's the same thing. So basically, I'm paying 92% of the total price after that first discount. But they do tell me that I have a second discount. Now, the second discount gets applied here on the sale price. Now, this is, I guess, the sale price 1 because it's after the first discount. So don't add the discounts together. What you're going to be doing is you're going to have to be applying the discount again, but it's going to be applied on the sale price after you've done the first one. Now, I don't actually know, okay, what that second discount is. So whatever that discount might be, let's call it, D, okay, or the rate of discount you can put in there as well, but I'll put it D, just remembering that it has to be in a decimal form, which means that here, this would have been 100%, okay, so minus this particular D that I would have, maybe I'll write it in decimal form here, so that would have been 1 minus D, okay, because 100% as a decimal is just 1. So that would have been after my second discount, and I don't know what this discount is. Now, finally, there is a tax. Now, taxes, so this would have given me my sale price, kind of number 2, and taxes within here are applied on the actual sale price. Now, I do know what the tax is. It's 13%. So that means on the opposite branch, the total would have been 100% plus whatever tax I've had. So that means it's 113% of that sale price after the second discount. And what they tell me, so here I'm going to shift this a little bit. Okay, so they do actually tell me that my amount of tax, so the amount of tax that I pay, is $113.62. So I know that this is $113.62. That's what that is. And now the beauty of doing these branches where, you had here, so this was your first discount, here you had a second discount, and then here, you had your tax, okay, right there, is that you can actually draw a path. So you can draw a path from the beginning. Okay, so this would have been your first discount, this would have been your second discount, and now they're giving me what the amount of tax was. And once you draw this path for yourself, what you are going to be doing, because this is really nothing else but just a proportion type of problem where you're just scaling things down. So you're decreasing the price because you have discounts, so you decrease the price 2 times, and then you're increasing the price because you have a tax. and then they tell you exactly how much that tax is. So if I write this out in full, so what you will have, maybe I'll write it from the back to the front. So we're trying to find this D, and what we will have is we will have $113.62. That's the amount of tax that I pay, and that is equal to 13% multiplied by 1 minus D, and then 1 minus 0.08 multiplied by the original, $1,000. So, within here, so what would have happened is if you multiply these two together, you would have had the first sale price. After that sale price, if you multiplied it by the 1 minus D, if we knew what D was, you would have received your sale price number 2, and then you can multiply by the tax, and that's going to give you $113.62. So now, of course, I have to solve for this D. Now, because there's multiplication, I can actually rewrite this. What you can do is the following. So you have this, this, and this. So these three, and I can just exchange, the order of the multiplication to make it a little bit easier for myself. So it's 0.13, 1 minus 0.08, which is 0.92, and then times the $1,000. And then I'm going to leave the 1 minus D at the end. And that's because the order of the multiplication doesn't really matter, right? We can multiply as we want. Now, once you do this, I can multiply these three together. So if I were to do that, let me just go ahead. So it's going to be 0.13 times 0.92 times 1,000. So this is going to be 119.6, and then this is going to be 1 minus D. Now, on the left-hand side, I still have so I still have this 113, so let me duplicate it and bring it down here. So I still have this. So now, again, my goal is to try to figure out what that D is. So now you can do one of two things. You can divide by 119.6 on both sides to get rid of it, or you can kind of distribute this across the bracket, which I guess I can do that. So I'm going to do it right here. That's D. It's 113.62. So maybe I'll swap these. So I'll move this on this side, and then I'll move this on that side. So I'll have 109.6D equals to 119.6 minus 113.62. So I have that. And now, so from here, so I can now go ahead and solve. Now, what is this? This minus 113.62. Going to be 5.98. Now dividing both sides by 119.6, so that's gone. Now D is equal to, so that means this answer divided by 119.6, and so I'll get that. And so now remember, this is basically a decimal. Now it's asked us for a percent. Well, changing this to percent, would have been 5%. So it looks like the second discount was 5% for this particular example. And this is how you can actually set this up. I like to do those branchings because it just lets me see what is happening. And then it's just a matter of setting up the equation and then manipulating it, which is just, can you solve, your old school, can you solve for X or can you solve for the unknown? So that's it. Okay. Thanks for watching. See you in a future video. Bye, everybody.